Hello and welcome to the Today is Your Day show. I am your host, Jonathan Davis, and I'm so excited that you decided to join us this evening. Look, we are going to have a great show because we have an awesome guest that will be joining us shortly. But of course, as you know, when we start with prayer. So let us go to the Lord in prayer. Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you for every person that is watching right now. Lord, I ask that you continue to touch each and every one of our audience members. Lord, you know what's going on in their lives. And I pray that as they're going through these situations, that they understand that there is a lesson within the journey. Yes, things may not be as they desired. Yes, things may not be moving as quickly as they would like to. Yes, things may suck, but we know that your hand is in the midst of it. And Lord, I pray that we don't miss it. We don't miss what you're trying to get us to gain. A lot of times we're in these situations to gain something, but it's prolonged because we just won't learn the lessons. So, Lord, I pray that you open their eyes to see that you are in the midst of this. You told us, as I say always, that you would never leave us nor forsake us. And all these things are working together for the good of those that love the Lord and calling on its purpose. So, Lord, we just thank you. We thank you for being the healer that you are, being the healer for those that are sick, that need healing in their body. We pray for manifestation of that healing to happen right now in the name of Jesus. Lord, we thank you for just loving us in spite of us. We thank you for being our provider and supplying all of our needs. So we thank you for this time. I pray that every person that watches this show, either right now live or later, that they gain something to take them to the next level, something that will change their lives, something that will see themselves even better. Lord, you said this show is not only to help those, but help people to understand that they're not alone, that they are accepted, that they are loved, that they are forgiven, and that you are not mad at them. So Lord, we just thank you. We thank you for this time. And I pray that you continue to bless the show to go higher and higher because you told me to do it. And I'm being obedient in doing so. So I thank you for this opportunity to share with your people. In your son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Again, welcome to Today is Your Day. Again, welcome to the Today is Your Day show. Again, I'm your host, Jonathan Davis, and I am so excited and elated that you decided to join us today. I'm trying to keep myself calm. I even sat down today, brought my desk down, and so I'm going to be sitting as we're talking to our guests today, but I have a few announcements that I definitely want to make. Want to let you know that Davis Consultants is here for you. We do mentorship and coaching. We do business consulting, business coaching, and we do ministry consulting as well. You can hit us up at www.davisconsultantsgroup.com. Again, that's davisconsultantsgroup.com. There is a conference coming up on July 15th, something you don't want to miss. A lot of times we have in our lives these plans, these goals, but do we have the right clear vision for them? Listen, join me on July 15th for Clear Vision Masterclass. It's something you don't want to miss. It's going to be hands-on. We're going to talk about what vision is. We're going to come up with a vision for whatever you have going on. Could be your life, could be your business, could be your ministry, your future. You need a clear vision. You cannot move forward if you don't have one. And there are other people waiting on you. There's something that you have that they need, and you have to have a clear vision to walk it out. So that is something that you don't want to miss. We also want to thank our sponsor for Today is Your Day, Proclamation 101. You definitely want to join their YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and go to Proclamation 101. They do the Bible study basics, something that you may actually need to get you to that next level. Again, we want to thank the Proclamation 101 YouTube channel. Please subscribe, press like and subscribe to that channel. And we want to thank them again for being a sponsor for the Today Is Your Day show. Listen, we have our Today Is Your Day show moment. Listen, do you know what success is? I was talking to a friend the other day and we were talking about success. And she asked me, she said, would you consider yourself to be successful? And I thought, okay, I've done some great things in my life, but I was also thinking about some things or places or steps and levels that I would like for me to be right now. And she said, I hear what you're saying, but do you understand that success is obedience? And I thought, wow, that hit me like a ton of bricks, because I started thinking, am I doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing? Have I done the things that I know God has told me to do? And my answer is yes. And so I tell you, don't look at other people. A lot of times we look at other people for success. We look at other people and look at their lives and compare ourselves. We go with that place of comparison, and we see these people with all these houses, all these cars, all this money. And a lot of times we think, oh, they're living their life. That person is successful. But I'm here to tell you, sometimes, and a lot of times, it is that person just has a lot of debt. Yeah, so I'm telling you, listen, success is obedience. So if someone asks you, do you consider yourself successful? You think about it. Have I been doing all the things that I know I'm supposed to be doing, that I've been told that I need to do? If your answer is yes, then you can look them right in the eyes and say, yes, I am successful. Okay, look, successful people, let's go for it. You have some things to do and some people waiting on you. Don't look at other people and what they're doing. Just focus on you. You are your own competitor. Compare yourself to yourself yesterday. Listen, you are successful. We want to thank our Today Is Your Day moment with Young People Nation podcast. We had the Perrys on, I think, last week, who blessed us. And you definitely don't want to miss their show every Thursday at 12 noon. Look them up, Young People Nation. That podcast is booming, and they are changing lives every show. So something you don't want to miss. Again, we want to thank Young People Nation for the sponsorship for Today Is Your Day moment. Again, every Thursday at 12 noon. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited today for our show, because I have this awesome guy that I've known since forever. I'm going to bring him up, and I want you all to welcome Mr. Clinton Mitchell of the Diplomatic Enterprises, right?
Yes, that's it.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you. Listen, y'all, I've known this guy, since when?
I don't know. Long time. I don't have a date.
When I came around a year later, you were around, so we've known each other forever. We've
Exactly.
in church in Miami, but and he'll share where he is, what he does, and all these great things. But I just am really excited that Clinton Mitchell Esquire decided to be a part of the Today Is Your Day show. Tell them who you are and your business and all the information they need to know about you.
So first and foremost, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to share with other people, particularly when the invitation comes from family. You make every accommodation you possibly can to make it happen. And so when I got the invitation, of course, I had to make it happen. My name is Clinton W. Mitchell, the first of his name. I do have 2 sons, one of which is named after me, and a beautiful wife, Piper. And I am the founder and CEO of Diplomatic Enterprises Consulting. We specialize in doing branding and legal work for small businesses. We have worked with clients from higher education institutions, both HBCUs, minority serving institutions. We've worked with athletes, entertainers, creatives, small businesses on everything from TV contracts to promotional opportunities to $1 million retail companies with their branding and operational needs. We do a lot. So essentially, if you're a small business or creative, or anyone who fancies himself in that ilk, and you need operational, branding, and legal work, even if it's just getting started with, hey, how do we trademark our logo? Or, hey, we're on the precipice of next, but we need a little bit of help. That's where me and my team kind of specialize.
Awesome. So tell us, how did this all get started?
So, really got started. I got tired of being told no. It's a very long story, but I'll make it short. So, a year into my legal career, I'm an attorney by trade. I graduated undergrad at Florida State University. I have a law degree from Howard University School of Law. And my first job out of law school was as a prosecutor in the second largest prosecutor's office in the country in Chicago. So I'm loving my job. Being in court every day. Literally started, Jonathan, in court on my first day at work. Trial by fire, literally. So, and almost a year into it, my grandmother becomes terminally ill. And I made the hard decision to move back home to Miami to help take care of her. So while I have zero regrets about that, she passed 8 months after my time there. What it did for my career, though, legally, was a setback. So I tried to jump back in, and that gap on the resume presented some problems, except for everyone except for my previous employer. The problem was, during that time, I had met a girl who made it absolutely positively certain she had no desires of moving to Chicago. So I had to take that off the table after literally hundreds of applications. And doing some interim and temp jobs here and there, I wanted to do more than just practice law. I wanted to do something to kind of merge my my interests and my creativity. And so I decided to start a consulting firm. So in April of 2013, I launched Diplomatic Enterprises Consulting. A month or so into it, our first client was a small business who just needed some contracts reviewed. And shortly thereafter, our second client was at that time, a three-time Olympian, now four-time Olympian, three-time Olympic medalist, Lauren Williams, and we have been running ever since. So I always tell people, I literally started this company because I got tired of being told no. And I thought there was a way where I could do everything that I wanted to do and be the best version of myself while servicing clients.
And so what does that actually look like for a client?
So what does that look like? Most consulting firms, right? Particularly, let's simply say I am a business management consultant, right? I focus a lot on small businesses, and sometimes that gets a knack, right? Because McKinsey isn't focusing on small businesses; they're focusing on Fortune 100 companies, right? But a lot of small businesses, by the very definition of small business, will work with larger companies. Like my clients have worked with Facebook, they've worked with Nike, they've worked with Target, or have products in Target or in Whole Foods. So they need the help more than anybody, because once you get that big break as a person who sells or makes widgets, and it comes time to put your widgets in Target or Whole Foods, there is a laundry list of things you have to do to perform. It's not just like, I make great widgets, now what? It's just like, yeah, there are a ton of things that you have to do. So, and that's what a lot of what we do. So one of the things I set out to do was to make things specifically for small business owners. So you'll see we have packages just for small business owners of various shapes and sizes, to kind of make things work for them. And one of the things that we always do is like, hey, when you need a trademark, right? Like everybody, regardless of whether when you want us to handle all of your intellectual property, all of your legal stuff, is like when you come to us, it's like, hey, I need this thing trademarked. Like, all right, let's sit down and let's outline what the strategy is, because you need to know how it fits in a strategy. Because depending on the type of company, let's say you are in the fashion industry, right? If you're in the fashion industry and you have a clothing line, if you decided to put all of your money in the middle of the table and wanted to get all of your ducks in a row with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in terms of trademarks, it could cost you tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars to trademark everything for every class that you're possibly going to use. One of the things we do, we sit down, is like, okay, what's coming first? What's near term? What's going to make you the most money? And we devise a strategy around that. Even if it's just like, all right, Here are the 10 classes that you can file your trademark under. Here's a 3 or whatever the number may be that you should prioritize. And one of the things we've noticed is that there aren't other consulting companies that are doing that because they want to get all the money from you as soon as and quickly as they can. I have a vested interest in other entrepreneurs and small business owners being successful. I have an extreme and acute interest in those clients, those what I call one-off clients, right? Me doing a job so well that they come back and they become retainer clients or monthly clients. And the way you do that is you just deliver exemplary service. Like that's the focus.
So in doing that, why do we need that? So, and I can't think of the word now. You just said it. I have this product that I want to use. Why do I need to do all those things? Or I want to put my product out there?
Because the short answer is things happen. Things happen every day, even things that you don't consider. So I have had the privilege of meeting small business owners, creatives from all across the country for more than a decade, right? Clients and non-clients alike. And I think one of the most unfortunate commonalities amongst them is our inability to account for the what ifs, right? Like when you are a baker, you've been baking in your home kitchen for so long, you're doing great. Everybody says you should go put those cupcakes on the street. You should go put those cupcakes in Publix or wherever the case may be. And then you set out to do it. More often than not, that person who's great at making that pound cake probably is less than stellar at the business of making pound cake. So there are things that they haven't considered. They've thought about the price of vanilla. They've thought about the price of sugar, eggs, flour, whatever the case may be. They may even have an idea about, okay, the rent on the bakery that they're going to rent, but they thought about the lights? Have they thought about vendor contracts? Have they thought about deposits? Have they thought about branding and operations and advertising? Have they considered all those things? And then if they've considered it, do they actually have the time to execute all of those functions? Mm-hmm. And most of us don't. So one of the things we do is we bring everything to their attention. Like, these are all the things that you need to consider. Whether you hire us to do it or whether you do it yourselves or whether you outsource it, that remains to be seen. But these are the things that you need to consider, like at the outset. And I just think most small business owners just have not considered the entire universe of what they need to think about when they get ready to launch. And then the other place, Jonathan, where we generally see the greatest need is those who've had that great measure of success and then are next, right? Again, going back to my widget analogy, is like, I've been great at selling widgets out of my garage, out of this small storefront, and now X big box store wants to place a massive order. What do I do? And there are a number of companies that have succumbed to success. It's like that have been on Shark Tank and gone bankrupt, that have gotten to Target or Walmart or whatever the case may be and have failed shortly thereafter, because it's not enough just to be in those stores. Like, it's a process. Like, can you still fulfill all the orders of your online brand or your DTC or your storefront and still meet the demands of these big box stores that have concerns, that have demands that need to be met in order for you to stay in their store?
Awesome. First, want to thank all those that are joining, watching us. We are here talking to Clinton Mitchell, CEO of Diplomatic Enterprises, who's given us, some news and information that we definitely need to know. I see a lot of business owners on the comments, and if you are joining us, please let us know that you are here. This is a conversation that we're all having. So if you have questions, please put them in the comments. I want to start with Kimberly Scott. She says, what if a small business doesn't think they need you?
So that's actually an issue I deal with a lot. And one of the things I do is, like, more often than not, right, after a short conversation, they understand the need. And again, it is not about making the sale for me. And I'll make this quick aside, right? I've only, in 10 years of business, I've done advertising once. And the doors have been open the entire 10 years. 10 years. I've only done advertising once. And that one time was as a favor to a friend who was running a magazine at that point. Everything that I've done, my success at this point is one, delivering great service, right? And then word of mouth. So in filling the needs of small business owners and of businesses and brands and creatives. So one of the things I do, I ask a few pointed questions about depending that are relative to their brand or to their industry or their geographic location. And generally within 3 to 5 questions, they see the need. Because again, most small business owners, no matter how great they are at their job, or at the product that they're delivering or the service that they deliver, there are just some things that we are going to miss as human beings when it's just us. And how many of our businesses are just us? When I started out, it was just me. So I am acutely aware of what that feels like, that loneliness of being an entrepreneur. And at the beginning, I get it. So I empathize with that.
Okay.
Which is why I chose this segment of the population to service.
I mean, being a small business owner myself, I understand, and clearly need to set up a meeting. But but I get it. I mean, there's so many things. You as I was talking earlier about, you have this vision for your business, but you know what you know, and you don't know the things that you don't know. And so you get to this place of you may be growing, and then you're like, oh man, this something comes in and kind of knocks us down, but why didn't I know that? Why didn't I know I should have prepared for that? And that's when we call you, of course. There's another question from us, Stan. What advice would you offer to a small business owner who has concept product but does not know what to do next to see his or her dream come to fruition?
So do the research, right? Like something is a quick like Google search about, hey, is there something else like this on the market? You want to know what everyone is doing. Like you may have an idea for a brand new athletic shoe, right? Like see what Nike is doing, see what Adidas is doing, Under Armour are doing, and then see where you could differentiate yourself. Because if there is no difference between what you're bringing to the market and price and look and scale or story, then there really is no need to bring in the market, to be perfectly candid, right? But if you see how your product, your service can be different from someone else just by doing some quick research, then you need to start enlisting the help of then you start outlining what that brand looks like. Like when at the outset of my career or this segment of my career, I had a lot of clients who were at the very beginning. Most of my clients now have already started and are on the precipice of next. But when I have clients come to me, I was like, come to me with an outline of what this is and what you want it to be. Because my skill set, right? My superpower, Jonathan, is adding strategy to ideas. You have these grandiose ideas of this brand, of your products, of your service. Cool. Let me put it on the whiteboard. Let's map out the universe of ideas for your brand or for brand X, and let's show how we can get it from point A to point Z. And we're not necessarily getting it from point A to point Z immediately, right? But we're mapping out a strategy to get there. It will not be overnight. That I can promise you. But there will be a strategy for how to get there, which also takes into consideration contingencies.
So you're saying, getting with you after our first meeting, we won't get $1 million, but if we keep working with you, that'll come.
What I tell clients all the time is there's a plan. Like you got to have a plan, and you must have a vision, and you have to commit to the plan. Like, and the plans and the strategies that I draft for clients are never fly by night. Like they're never like, I guarantee you we're going to make $1 million on this harebrained scheme tomorrow or next week. That's never the idea. It is, what is your vision? Let's break it down. Let's build it up, and let's build a plan around what it is.
While people are jumping on and off, I want to make sure people can get in contact with you. How would someone get in touch with you all?
Oh, they can just call you.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. But the quickest way is to visit diplomaticenterprises.com. You can visit the website, see the services we offer, see the team. You can also go right there and schedule a meeting with me, like immediately. Like and my schedule is updated regularly. I'm actually about to add some more slots because there's nothing but 30-minute slots there, and some people need a little bit more. But my schedule is up to date. It does coincide with my personal calendar and my work calendar, so it is accurate as of right now. So if you take a look at the website after tonight, hear me talk with you, Jonathan, and it's like, hey, let's have a meeting or initial consult. Those are free. Like, I'm not charging you to have an initial consultation with me. I don't charge for those. I just don't. Most attorneys do, but I don't. And that is the best way. And again, that's www.diplomaticenterprises.com.
I put it on the screen. Let me see if I did that right. Is that right?
There we go. Thank you.
Awesome. So please reach out to him. There is a question I see that's in Spanish. If someone can, I saw my friend Jeremy on here. If somebody can interpret that for me, I would love to answer that question for them. So let's put this one. So Stan also had a question. What documents and items should small business owners bring with them to meet with you at their initial consult?
So it varies on what you have, right? If you've already filed the name, like, bring that. Like, if you have a trademark, you don't necessarily have one. We do them like all the time, whether it's a part of the service that we're delivering or if it's what I call a one-off. It's like, hey, you're only coming to us to trademark a particular thing or copyright a particular thing. Like, you bring that. Whatever you have at that moment that you will file with your local, state, or federal government, you bring that, because we'll want to know, right? Because when you talk about, hey, I want to start a catering business. Like, I'm going to tell you about the ServSafe license that you need to do, or what you need to do for the state, local, county, municipalities that you need to be recognized as a caterer legally in that jurisdiction. So whatever you have, you bring that. The most important thing, but if you don't have any of that, right? The most important thing is come with the vision. I can't do anything if you don't have a plan for what it is that you want to do. And that plan can just be a one-page outline. Like, that's perfectly fine. I promise you, we'll fill in the gaps. But you have to come with a plan of more than just, I want to start a record label. Okay. What type of music? How many artists? Where would this record label be? Like, you need to have those basic questions answered before our meeting, or else it's really going to be a waste of your time, because it's just going to be me peppering you with questions you don't have answers.
What if for somebody that is just joining in and seeing, I know I don't want you to share everything that you all are doing in your meetings, but what are some initial things that people need to have jotted down? Because I know there's somebody's watching this, they have this I always do the story of this great chocolate chip cookie or something that they want to sell, this product that they have. What is it, the first thing that they need to do, or some questions they need to ask themselves?
So questions you need to ask yourself are, like, what's the name of the company? Like, what's the star product, right? Like, what's the star product? What's the star service? How much is it worth? And when I say how much is it worth, not like you don't tell me, oh, I think I can get $1 million on Shark Tank. Yeah, that's not what I'm asking. I'm saying is like, how much is the cookie worth? Like, how much do the chocolate chips cost en masse? Like, how much does the sugar cost? How much does the flour cost? Like, you need to have an approximation of what all of that costs, so you can set a price on that cookie that makes sense. So you're not selling cookies at a loss, right? So have a name. If you have a logo, that would be fantastic, but you don't absolutely need one at the outset. We can work on that later. But if you have one of those, how much your product is worth, and then what your ideal goal is for the next 3 months, 6 months to a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like what do you need to be like? Are you in full time right now when we have this call or this meeting? Like, is it still part time, and are you looking to go full time? Like, have some semblance of an idea about what that is for you, right? Because when I started, it was full time for me. But a number of my clients, even at the beginning and even as of recent, like, we're starting part time. Like, I have clients right now who are transitioning from, yeah, I'm doing this as a hustle until it gets to that breaking point. And what's that breaking point? Like, me knowing what that break glass point is, what that number is, what that inflection point, what that customer number is, helps me, because then I get to strategize around that as well. I tell my clients, give me as much information as you're comfortable with. I can't share it with anyone without jeopardizing my license or going to jail. And I don't want to do either of those two things, right? So give me as much information as you're possibly comfortable with, because it's going to help me build out the strategy. You have a family of 5, let me know. Like if you have, money buried in the backyard, you don't have to tell me how much, you don't have to tell me where, but you have a safety net that you can depend on, like just in case it doesn't work out, let me know that. If you was like, hey, I'm 5 customers away, 5 clients away from doing this thing full time, if that's your number 5, let me know. Those are the type of things I want to know as how I will craft a strategy around your idea.
And so, and I mean, I can even speak for myself, all working with clients. It's definitely a different level. And if you have some more questions, I definitely want to answer, have answered. It's more so of that hunger. When it's your side hustle or when it's your full-time thing, that hunger is different. And you get a whole different energy from that client. I mean, you can speak on that.
So, yes. When you've literally applied to hundreds of jobs and people tell you no, and you have multiple degrees, awards, and it still hasn't happened for you yet, like there's a level of hunger that exists in me, that I readily admit doesn't exist for most people. I understand that is one of my superpowers. I want it more than most people. I readily understand that. I don't fault other people for not wanting it as much as me, but it is an advantage, right? When you're doing it part-time, I don't hold that against people because people are at various stages of their lives.
Oh,
That
yeah.
makes sense. I've had clients who just like, I need to do this thing because this is how much my bills pay. And this passion project of mine, this entrepreneurial journey that I'm embarking on is not going to pay those bills, right? So cool. I take that into account and help them find a plan to get to where the passion project is a full-time thing that they can do, that they can like, they can love, and live in. And that is always a plan for those part-timers who want to become full-time. But and I say this, there's always a point, an inflection point, where there is a leap of faith. It does not matter how great your cakes are. It does not matter how great the product that you're delivering or the service that you're delivering. Like 9 times out of 10, there is not a perfect switch point for entrepreneurs to become part-time to full-time. Most times there's not. It's not just like, I need $1,000 a month. I'm making 1,001. I'm going to quit. Sometimes this is like, I need $1,000 a month. I'm at 900, but I don't have the bandwidth to get to $1,000 because I have a full-time and a part-time. So what do? Like, it is a leap of faith to be like, I know I'm $100 per month short, but I feel like, I believe like if I stop and go full speed ahead and trust God, right?
Oh,
That is going to happen. Like, it's going to happen. And if statistically speaking, right, you put more hours towards this thing, whatever the case may be, you're more likely to be successful. It's no different than the basketball player, who shoots, 100 free throws, in practice, as the one who shoots 1,000 free throws. The one who shoots 1,000 free throws practice is more likely to be more successful at free throws than the one who doesn't. Like,
right.
And that's just statistically speaking.
Well, that was good. Good answer. Good answer. We got actually I'll do it the one first. Thank you, Jeremy and Giscard, for translating the Spanish question. Question in Spanish: how should you organize yourself when you have so many businesses around you offering the same thing as you?
So the short answer, and I know this won't be satisfactory, will be it depends, right? It depends on the business. It depends on the industry. It depends on the location, right? Like if you're trying to come out with a new cola located in the metro Atlanta area, I'm going to tell you that's probably a bad idea. Right? So it's like if your plan is to take that new cola nationwide, and it's not, and your cola can be great. It's just the amount of money you'd have to put into getting it up and running is really going to be obscene. Like you literally would have to spend tens of millions of dollars to get it off the ground and then get it on the radar of the people to even give them an opportunity to taste it. So It depends on what you're trying to do, because for some folks, LLCs are ideals. For some folks, partnerships or C corps or S corps. It varies from entity to entity, and
Mhm.
that's when um, I always encourage people, and I understand why more people don't. Is like that's when you want to have a conversation with a consultant or an attorney. Is like, okay, what is the best business structure for? If you can figure it out on your own, some states are very good at providing information that works. Great, but whenever possible, like lean on professionals in that space. Like I've been doing again, working with businesses for over 10 years, and I know enough about taxes. Um, Business taxes, right? To know that I lean on professional. I don't do my own taxes. I don't do the company's taxes. I don't do any of that because that would
Yeah.
be an awful, no good, very terrible idea. But I know enough about our liability and what's going on and clients, and these are the jurisdictions that they or geographic locations that we operate in and what it might mean. But in terms of the actual advice that we get and how we structure things for tax purposes for ourselves and for our clients, no, someone else handles that, and it informs the strategy. But I do not handle that because I'm smart enough to know that's not my gift. That's not my talent. That's
Mhm.
not my expertise.
And just to even throw out a note to those that are watching, being a former business banker, a lot of times I would get clients that they have ran through their credit. I mean, their credit is trash, and they believe that now they have a business, and so they're going to get their business loan using their business credit, even though they just started a business. So they have no business credit. So they think, you know what? I know my credit, my personal credit is trash. I'll just use my business credit. And what I'm here to tell you folks, the bank, the credit union, they go by your personal credit first because you have not built up business credit. So first note, work on your personal credit. If your credit is trash, I need you to start working on that. Just a note. I mean, I'm sure once you work with him, he'll tell you the same thing. But
Yes.
if you need those funds, they're going to look at your personal credit. So if you have to clean it up, do so now. Do so now because that will be helpful when trying to get a loan from a bank. They look at your personal credit, not your business credit. Okay, got another question from Donna Perry. How can you patent your brand?
So, under the umbrella of intellectual property, there are three large buckets, right? There are many smaller buckets, but there are three large buckets. We have copyrights, we have trademarks, and we have patents, right? Copyrights are for, let's say, words, right? Lyrics, poems, scripts. Trademarks are for marks, like you are marking or protecting the mark. So, and patents are for inventions.
Mhm.
So, if you come up with a new fancy way to deliver clean energy to a house, like you want to patent that. If you come up with a new way to create computers, you would patent that design. So, what you want to do is trademark the logo. And one of the things that we always encourage our clients to do is like go ahead and trademark like that logo like as quickly as possible, because you don't know what's next and you don't know when it's coming. And I'll give you an example. We had a number of clients who came to us during the pandemic wanting to intellectual property out, and the reason is because entrepreneurship applications for new businesses skyrocketed during the pandemic. So what followed was a lot of people trying to get copyrights and trademarks for things. The problem is that it dovetail with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, essentially just like not having the ability to meet demand for people who are working at home or people who are furloughed. Like, so you had an extended wait time for people waiting to hear back on trademark applications.
Mhm.
Here's where that problem comes, Jonathan. And excuse me, Donna Perry, for your question. That problem comes when Target wants to add your product in Q1 of next year, and here you are in Q2 without a trademark, right? And the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office is telling you, yeah, we can't guarantee that this is going to be looked at until 6 months, and then you have to hope no one files an action. You have to hope no one files an appeal. You have to hope that it's straightforward and clean, and maybe you'll be ready for prime time for Q1 of next year. So to take a step back, like what I always advise clients is like, if you stay ready, you never have to worry about getting ready. And they're just basic things that you want to do, like at the outset. You don't wait till later and we absolutely need it, but you go ahead and you trademark the logo because it's yours and you can protect it to the nth degree. And one of the, and in line with that, one of the things that a lot of clients underestimate is the power of retail there. So for clients who are in that retail space, particularly if they're online, I have so many clients who are both big and small, who have issues with piracy from within the United States and without the United States. So one of the things I've done for a number of brands, including Black Girls of Magic, we actually worked with the creator of the brand. Was like at one point I was sending out cease and desist letters daily, largely to Chinese companies and then also to some American-based companies trying to take advantage of the brand and pirate and use it as their own, like making apparel that was unlicensed, unsanctioned, without approval, just because they could or because it was popular. So you have that trademark and you go to Etsy, you go to Walmart, you go to eBay. It's like, hey, I am the owner of this mark. Those people are infringing upon my mark, and you have that paperwork. They must immediately take it down. But if you don't have that trademark, you're short. You don't have that copyright in the materials, like you're short. And the other thing, and it doesn't matter, even if you were first in time, right? A lot of people, one of the greatest misnomers is like, well, I'll have a poor man's, copyright or trademark. It's just like, I was first in time. I can easily prove it based on what my website is. It's like, that's right. That could work, right? But if that vendor in China, that vendor in the middle of Iowa, literally, I've had vendors in the middle of Iowa trying to perpetrate my clients' work. Like if they've made any money, you're not entitled to any of it if you don't have the trademark. But if you own the trademark, like whatever they've made, like you are entitled to a portion of it because you own the mark.
Wow. What is that? I mean, do we have to sell organs to get that, or go ahead?
I can't hear you
at all. Can you not hear me at all?
Hold on.
Okay.
Piper.
And the world of technology, we definitely have some questions just to make sure. Can you all actually hear me? Can somebody put in the comments if you can hear me? I want to make sure that I'm heard. I don't see that I'm muted, but I want to make sure I'm heard. I see no one commenting, so let me see. Okay, great. Thanks, Anthony. Awesome. Okay. Let me first, while we're waiting on Clinton to come back, thank you all for joining us today. We are talking to Clinton Mitchell, the CEO of Diplomatic Enterprises. We're getting questions answered, which I think is awesome because I think a lot of those that are watching right now have businesses and they have questions and they are asking people that don't know. And I've talked to businesses that have talked to that have gotten knowledge from people that have never owned a business. I use the word knowledge loosely, but they've said, "Hey, you should do this," and this kept them in the red. And they've gotten mentored by Uncle Tommy, and Tommy's never owned a business, but we trust everything that Tommy says. So if Tommy says that I need to get this business credit card and swiping or get this loan because he said I'm gonna do it. So and it keeps us in the red because we don't have the money to pay back. But I'm gonna let you continue. We also had some more questions. Did you have anything else that you need to add from what you just were talking about?
No, it was really just about the importance of the mark. One, in protecting it today, and then also what you're doing tomorrow. And because you can't trust that when you need it at the 9th hour, that you're going to have enough time.
Now, the question I had, do we have to sell organs to afford to get those trademarks? Or those things to be clear?
So no, right? So depending on the class and depending on the type of business, it's just a few $100s to trademark per class. And the class really is depending on like what line of work you're in. The most complicated ones are always I use fashion industry because I literally have a client who has a clothing line. When he first came to me, he's like, these are all the areas or types of products that I make. He makes handmade leather goods. If you've ever seen any of my bow ties, if you've ever seen any of my bags, like he makes them all. So he told me all the class, and I was like, okay, if money's not an issue and you want to get all these products, on the market today, this is how much it's going to cost, because the bow ties, the belts, the bags, like we're in different classes as registered on the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, and it was going to cost an obscene amount of money. So again, going back to what we started out earlier about creating a strategy, I was like, these are all the products you sell now, and these are all the products you want to sell in the next 1 to 2 years, right? These are the number of classes that you would need to do that, right? Okay, what's the budget? So we figured out what the budget was, and it's like, okay, what are you selling today, right? Let's figure out what those classes are, and what are your best sellers, right? So what we're going to do is like, what are you selling today? What are your best sellers that are going to help you make money to add more classes as we go along? So that's what I'm talking about, creating a strategy around what your budget is and what you're doing. Like, and if you're a fashion company, right, you're getting ready to come online for fall of next year, right? Like, you don't want to leave with your spring line if money is an issue. If you are budget conscious, like, let's not start with trademarking the logo in the classes of spring clothes. Let's start with fall, because that's going to be first. Like, that's where you're going to make the money the quickest and the fastest. So adding strategy to those ideas, like, is again something that we specialize in.
Just quick. So when you say class, what does that mean?
So the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office has classes of use, right? So if you are again, going back to the fashion industry, if you have a clothing line and you make hats, t-shirts, belts, and jeans, those aren't all in the same classes. So what you would need per the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office is to license your mark in each one of those 4 classes. And there is a fee for each one of those classes.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Okay.
So,
okay, so
that's why we say, hey, let us know everything up front about what you're doing now, what's near term, what's in the works. So we're always ahead. And so we always know where, and then we can budget around it. Like, having a budget or not being able to afford everything you want to do at the outset has never bothered me. Like, I'm not going to think any less of you. It's like that. I'm just not.
Okay. I don't know if it's me, but you keep going in and out. It could be me. It could be me. Want to get some other questions. Let's see. Did you hit on this? Can you talk about bulk trademark copyright if that's public? Did you hit that fully?
Sure, we can talk about it. So trademarks are again for the mark, right? Like, you want to trademark your logo as you use it in what we call commerce, right? And you want to copyright your written works, like song lyrics, poems, movie scripts. Like, that is what you copyright. Works of art that will be used in a public square. And again, we're trademarking the mark as you use it. Like, so Disney has some untold number of trademarks on their mark, because there's the Disney logo in a million variations, right? So, or let's think about Coca-Cola. Like, so Coca-Cola, the use of it with the red background, Coca-Cola and the use of it with the red script or the white script or the black script or a black background. Like, there's a trademark for each one of those different types of uses. And you can extrapolate once you go out to how they use it in various countries. There's a different mark for those and how they use it in every country. So there's a ton of money you can spend on trademarks depending on what your line of work is, which is why it's like, you definitely should consult a professional, even if it's not me. This isn't an advertisement for Diplomat and Enterprises. But you should definitely visit diplomatenterprises.com. But what I'm saying is, you should absolutely visit and consult a professional, so you know how to protect that mark, and then what your license, regulator approved use is in the market.
Okay, it was another question. That's good. Thank you. Um, okay. Kim Scott says, what if you're hitting a brick wall while trying to help or work with clients?
I hope no one has the impression that the last 10 years have been easy, because they have not. Um, like no way, shape, or form has it been easy the entire time I've been doing this. And you will hit a wall. What I have done is evolve um, as a business owner, as a consultant, as an attorney, and the service provider that I am today is not the service provider I was 10 years ago. I am better at this today than I was 10 years ago. And there's still room for me to grow. What you learn is, or at least what I hope you learn, is that over time you get a better understanding of how people work, what their needs are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, what they'll like, what they appreciate. And then you have a general understanding of how to work with people. And then you tailor it to the person that you're dealing with. I have dealt with people who have all of the answers while asking me for help. And that is difficult. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have dealt with people who are not forthcoming with information that makes the job challenging. I have dealt with people who you've given explicit advice and refuse to listen to it. That too is also challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you get to a point where you understand what's worth your time and what's not. I have unfortunately fired clients before. That's because I did the cost benefit analysis and it just wasn't worth the effort and the time. And that's not something I do lightly. It's not something I do, at the drop of a dime. It is something that builds up and accumulates. I am the most patient with my kids and with my clients because I know being an entrepreneur is a lonely journey. I know what it feels like believing your like success, rises and falls on your shoulders and your shoulders alone. And what some people tend to do, Jonathan, from a place of fear. So what I try to do is get my clients to trust me as quickly as possible, however long that may take, but I try to trust me as quickly as possible. So that may mean breaking down some walls and some barriers. Like, so our business meetings with my clients, like they almost always start with, how's the family? What's going on? What did you do last week? And it's not small talk, like just for the sake of small talk, because to be candid, I am not a fan of small talk. It really is me talking to them, letting them know that like I care about you as a person and what you're doing. And that informs what we're doing on this call today. Even if this call is not a great call, even if it's about a pending legal matter, like whatever case may be, it's just like, what's going on with you otherwise? Like, how are the kids? Like, how was the baseball game? If I know there was a baseball game last week, stuff like that, that kind of gets them to understand that I care about what they're doing outside of, our paid interactions, because I do.
Awesome. Hold on. There was a couple more questions before we get out of here. Stan asked, do you assist with identifying capital investors for business ventures?
So we have done that before, and we've done it recently. I will say funding is the Achilles heel of most small businesses, particularly those run by people of color. So we do have some folks that we've worked and connected with. It is not an area of practice. Like there are some folks who are great or adept at doing that. That is not our strength. It is not something that we advertise. But if my clients need funding to get new machines or to grow or to expand the product line, we absolutely, we'll make those phone calls. We absolutely do sit in those meetings as advisors, as operational folks, as legal people, because we do have that capacity. But in terms of like actually like, hey, I can guarantee you funding, no, that's not what we do. And I make that abundantly clear. But can I make some phone calls, or can I send some emails or help you with the research? Absolutely. That's exactly what we do.
Awesome, because I definitely wanted some investors, and hopefully you'll send them my way. Okay, besides that, Kidding. We have Ms. Blanco. Thank you, Just for translating. What happens if your customers do not consume everything you offer? Would you lower prices or simply offer them a greater variety of options to consume?
Again, another where the short answer is it depends. But the long answer is one of the things most of us, right, myself included, get wrong at the outset of starting a business is like how to price this thing. Like whether you are delivering a service or whether you're delivering a product, it is important to know what your costs are. And for most of us, right, all of the costs aren't immediately clear, right? Like when you get ready to move into a space, right, to start your bakery, you may understand like the back of your hand, like how much it costs for your baking ingredients, but you may not have done a great job approximating how much the electricity is going to bill is going to be, right? You may not have done a great job, approximating how much the water bill is going to be, or advertising or marketing or any of those other things. Those are some things that unfortunately you're just going to learn and develop over time, and you may need to adjust your prices. The one thing I will say is, even if you don't have a business degree, right, which I do not, even if you aren't strong with numbers, right, you are going to have to lean into the metrics to some degree, right? Taking a look at where your numbers are weekly, monthly, quarterly, and then if you've been in it for a while over the course of a year, like, and you see the ebbs and flows. Like I have clients in certain industries, right, who knows like, oh, Q1 is going to be low for us, but we're going to make up for it in Q2 and 3, and then we're going to explode off the charts in Q4. And you know that, right? You can make adjustments in Q1. Oh, we're going to run a couple more sales in Q1 because it's low, and we just need to hit this amount. Like that's all we need in Q1. So you need to understand what you're doing, what the price point is, what the value is that you're offering, and then adjust your prices around that into your clientele as well. One of the other things that we do in terms of pricing, one of the missteps we make is, well, I'm offering $1 million product. Why won't they spend $1 million on it? Well, if the neighborhood that you're selling this product is not worth $1 million, they can't afford it. It's like, so either you need to move this bakery or this widget shop to a place or an area where people can afford it, where your prices are going to go up as well, right? Or you need to lower your prices or find a new product or find a new service to offer. Like a lot of these decisions can't be made in isolation.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes they are. And I understand why, right? Because our price is our price, and we want people to pay us what we believe we're worth. And I understand that. But I will be completely honest and transparent with you. People were not paying me what I was worth at the beginning. They just weren't. It's like, I mean, am I getting that now? Get a lot. I'm there. So, I wasn't there at the beginning. It took some time. It took some adjustment. We find out what the price point is, what works, what makes sense, and what encourages people to continue to come back. Yes, market research is very important.
Do your homework. I mean, in short, do your homework. I know we're getting close to time, but tell us your company, what all you offer, and then I'll put up how people can get in contact with you.
So Diplomatic Enterprises Consulting, we focus primarily on small businesses and helping brands become the best version of themselves. We work with creatives, we work with entrepreneurs, small businesses, in retail space and beauty space. We even have athletes and entertainers and creatives who are on our roster in a number of different industries and capacities. Essentially, just adding strategy to their ideas, whether it's operations, whether it's branding, whether it's legal, intellectual property. If you need work or help with your small business, chances are we have an area that we can help with. And small business is our passion. It's my purpose. It's what I love doing. It's what I enjoy doing. And don't let the small get in the way of being mighty. Like, don't let that stop you. Don't let that get in the way of what your purpose and what God's plan is for your business. Like, you keep working the plan. You keep doing what you need to do to go where you want to go and where you need to go.
Awesome. So as you all can see, I put the website on the screen, www.diplomaticenterprises.com. Reach out to him and get your business together. We definitely thank Clinton for joining us today. I was really excited that he said yes. I've not seen Clinton in years. Let me just throw that out there. I mean, again, we've known each other. I mean, we're cousins, but we've known each other for years. We even used to sing at a gospel group. What was it called? The four something.
The Gospel Four.
The Gospel Four. Yes. I was trying to find a picture, but I'm sure it's at my mom's house. But put up there just to embarrass you. But it's all good. You have grown up to be awesome, and I'm very proud of all that you're doing. And I'm again elated and honored that you decided to grace us with so much knowledge and your presence today. I mean, you have people asking awesome questions, and I hope that the questions continue. Again, go to his website, www.diplomaticenterprises.com. His name is Clinton Mitchell, and he is the guy who's going to help you take your business to the next level. I thank all of you all for joining me today. We're going to come back next week. I'll be interviewing Keela Connie. We'll be talking about relationships. We'll be talking about love, all the do's and don'ts. No one's an expert. We're just having a great conversation. But we want you all to join us and be a part of that. I think we're going to talk on the 7th, so you don't want to miss it. Again, thank you, Clinton Mitchell, for joining us. I told you, I'm going to be setting up a meeting. I'm going to go see.
I'll be looking forward to it.
You said I don't have to sell an organ to work with you, so I'm looking forward to it as well to help me take my business to the next level. But I want to thank everybody for joining us. And remember, it doesn't have to be your birthday to know that today is your day.